In 1975, Khalid bin Abdulaziz became Saudi Arabia's fourth king.
King Khalid was a delightful man. He was not so keenly interested in politics as King Faisal was and as King Fahd was later on. He liked to talk about the desert, he liked to talk about hawking. When I took visitors to see him, he wanted to talk about his hawks. One didn't discuss politics with King Khalid on the whole. He would say, see my brother Fahd about that.
Saudi Arabia was enjoying an embarrassment of riches. With a tiny population estimated at 4 million and only 500,000 literate male adults, it was hard to put to work an income of nearly $1 billion a week. It was a lot of cash. Saudi Arabia embarked on a rapid course of buying and building. Foreign contractors rushed in.
Saudi Arabia was the only country that was booming. There wasn't any work for Western contractors anywhere else in the world. So everybody was converging on Saudi Arabia. Everybody was desperate for a piece of the action.
You would go away for a summer holiday and you'd come back and you'd get lost. You wouldn't recognize the city you had left just a couple of months before. So things that would normally have taken 20 years to do were done in a few months. And it made people a little bit crazy. A little bit crazy.
We were building 2 schools every 3 days. We had to build 7 universities. We were trying to do so much in a constrained period of time. So the debate was, do we import foreign labor or do we wait until we train our labor and then carry the projects ourselves? And I was of the opinion then that the decision that was taken at the time to import foreign labor was a great decision.
So you began to have this skewed system where the native population didn't do very much, and most of the people who did the work were expatriates. If you look at even in Saudi Arabia today, population is 16 million, but the expatriates are perhaps 6 to 7 million.
Among those that accumulated massive wealth during the boom time was the Bin Laden family, becoming the principal builders to the royals. Another Saudi elite became notorious big spenders in the casinos of Europe. The royals, with their huge monthly allowances, spent seemingly endless vacations there. Saudi leaders lost credibility and respect, especially among religious conservatives.
Quite a boom. A boom that financed construction boom. A construction boom that was built by the Saudi bin Laden group, the family of one Osama bin Laden. The value of the company, although it's not publicly traded, as neither is Saudi Aramco, and so actual estimates, actual valuations of something like this are difficult to come by. Most estimates put the value of the bin Laden group, the construction company, at something in the neighborhood of $36 billion. The company, founded by the patriarch of the family, Mohammed bin Laden, born 1908, died 1967, had a remarkably similar life and sexual habits, let's just say, of as the founder of the country, Abdul Aziz Ibn Saud had. Mohammed bin Laden had 22 wives, just as Abdul Aziz Ibn Saud had 22 wives, but Mohammed was a bit more fecund. 54 sons to the relatively paltry total of 45 sons achieved by Abdul Aziz Ibn Saud. And of course, one of those sons, born in 1957, was Osama. Now, the oil money, the petrodollars, the construction boom, the transformation of Saudi Arabia from a backward, tribal, tent society, which is essentially what it was up until the 1940s, into a modern marvel of architecture and engineering. The world's tallest building is currently being built in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia, although there is a great deal of competition from the Burj Dubai Tower being built, also on the Arabian Peninsula in the oil-rich emirate of Dubai. There's a dark underbelly to all of this splendor and luxury of the Arabian Gulf states. A very dark, dark underbelly indeed. The labor laws in Saudi Arabia are, let's just say, non-existent. As we're going to see in the next lecture, the price paid by those expatriates, as they were called in the documentary clip, is extraordinarily high. I'm going to be focusing on several UN reports, some reports from Human Rights Watch, on the terrible conditions endured by those who have built Saudi Arabia into a modern state. Saudi Arabia was not built by Saudis. It was built on the backs, the blood of foreign labor. So what have we learned? Well, we've seen thus far how a tribal society that, beginning decades of the 20th century, was beyond a backwater, was transformed by the discovery of oil in 1938 and the subsequent formation of the Arabian American Oil Company, Aramco, a company that is now known as Saudi Aramco and is valued at something in the neighborhood of $750 billion. A country that is ruled by a single family, a country that has been ruled by the sons of its founder during the entirety of its existence. Beginning in 1932 to the present day, every single king of Saudi Arabia has either been Abdul Aziz ibn Saud, seen here to the left, or one of his 45 sons. Even more prolific than Abdul Aziz ibn Saud is Mohammed bin Laden, the patriarch of the bin Laden family and the founder of the bin Laden Group, the construction company that has reaped the benefits of those trillions of petrodollars, a company now valued at something in the neighborhood of $36 billion. Of course, one of those sons of Mohammed bin Laden, those 54 sons from 22 wives, born in 1957, was Osama bin Laden. Next time, we're going to look at the realities of Saudi Arabia today. On the one hand, what it's like to be a Saudi citizen, one of the few million, the few lucky, and also what it's like to be among the tens of millions of guest laborers who have no right and whose existence is closer to slavery than to any conception that we would have of work in the Western world. Next time, Growing Up Saudi.